It may seem like a teensy-weensy space, but to Rowan Coons, it's a palace. The 175 square foot interior living space is the perfect size for the single, self-sufficient woman who has methodically planned her future. Coons, part of an emerging population concerned about leaving a small carbon footprint and giving up excess for simplicity, is one of Ulster County's pioneers in the tiny house movement. She single-handedly designed and built the home she's parked on her parents' land in the country 3 years ago.
I think the exterior of it was inspired by a chicken coop that I saw. But the interior, it was just really sort of focusing on what I needed to be comfortable and then rearranging those items. I had, a little sort of model that I played around with. I sketched a bunch. And oddly enough, I came back to the first design I had made. But once you sort of focus in on the difference between needs and wants, it became a lot easier to fit everything. I didn't feel like I was squeezing my life into this tiny little space.
The 36-year-old art teacher who's lost her job twice lives off-grid, meaning she doesn't rely on utilities. She pumps her own water, rainfall collected in buckets, and splits her own wood during the cold season. She also grows her own food in a well-thought-out garden in her backyard. For Coons, the small and simple life was just the ticket to become financially independent. In the 3 years she's lived in her tiny house, she's been able to bank 3/4 of her paycheck, living comfortably on minimum wage.
Having built this, it's already paid for itself within 2 years of, the equivalent for rent in this area. And I've been able to pay off my student loans. I was able to pay for my master's out of pocket. And I feel a lot more financially secure in a time that is not very financially secure.
Coons is not alone in her adoration of micro-living. In fact, the itty-bitty house movement has become big business, not only across the nation, but now here in the Hudson Valley.
There's a lot of interest. We're open 7 days a week because there's so much foot traffic due to us having some tiny houses outside. Brings people in, and it's kind of half and half. It's people who want to invest in them for like Airbnb, but it's also a tiny house community. It's millennials as far as the younger crowd who don't want mortgages. It's kind of more free-spirited because you can move the home. But at the other end of it, and maybe more so, are empty nesters. The children have left, and they pretty much just want to downsize their lives, so they might sell their house and buy a tiny house and roll it onto their son or daughter's property.
The average tiny house is between 100 and 400 square feet, takes about 3 months to build, and costs $40,000, according to Anderson, who for the most part doesn't think it's a fad.
Well, for the people who are investing maybe to make money with them, it's a possibility that, it might be a fad, but for the real tiny house community, it's a way of life. People don't want to leave a large carbon footprint. They are very green-minded, very well-researched. They know what they want when they come in, and they're prepared to live tiny.
For Coons, that required thinking about what was most dear to her and customizing her space accordingly. She likes to bake, so she made sure she had the equipment in her kitchen to make that happen. It's all proof in Coons' mind that good things really do come in small packages.
It's not about just living tiny. And I think that's actually really important for people to reflect on before they go into something like this. And I would suggest, if you are thinking about going tiny, definitely go see if you could stay in one. I would spend a lot of time sort of just reflecting on what it is you think you need to be happy.